we are Team O for the DAP project, and we have taken the LinkedIn dataset along with the World Bank partnership dataset, which involves skill, country, and industry migration. The technology that we will be using is Docker, PostgreSQL, Mongo DB, Jupyter Notebook, which will have Python coding, and also Dagster. Deepak will explain with Dagster first.
Yeah, this is our Dagster dashboard. Here you can see we have different assets group. First is load unstructured data and transform data, and then we have data visualization part. Under unstructured data, we will reading the data from CSV files and loading it to MongoDB. Then we are transforming those data and getting the data from MongoDB. After the transformation is done, we will loading the clean data to the PostgreSQL databases, and then we will doing the data visualization using Jupyter Notebook, and this Jupyter Notebook will be run through our Dagster programs. And if you come to the coding part, you can see we are using different panda functions to read the CSVs. These functions will read the CSV for all the three data sets. This close MongoDB connection is used for closing the MongoDB connection if we are using one. And loading the MongoDB connection once the data set is ready, then we will read the data from all the country skills and industry migration, and then we will create the data set and database if there is no database already exists. And then if we already have a database, then this message will be populated. And coming to the transformation, Nivriti will explain the industry migration.
For the transformation, I have taken the industry migration dataset and using the exploring data function such as information description, I've taken the information of the dataset and checking for the null values. Since I had a lot of rows with the null values, I've dropped them using the drop NA function and going for checking the unique values. The transformed data that is now obtained is further used for the data visualization. Next transformation will be explained by Deepak.
Yeah, for country migration data, I have first I will make the connections, and then I am dropping all the values that are not required, or either they have the NA values. So I'm dropping them here, and Sarvoj will explain the skill migration transformation.
So in skill migration, first there were NA values in columns and rows. So I had to take all the values. So I iterated through the whole data frame using for loop and fetched all the data that were required. Then I used drop NA to drop all the NA values that were there in the data frame. Hence, I got a clean data that was somewhere around 17,000 rows. Now we'll come to the main part, that is the Postgres. So once we have cleaned the data, now we have to load the data into Postgres SQL. So here we have connect to DB. In this we can see that we have connected to our database. There is username and password. Now we'll come to DB creation. So we have to create a DB. This function will create a DB for us. If a DB already exists, it will exit the function. Now a DB is created. Now we'll create the tables. That three tables will be created. That is skill migration, industry, data, country migration, and industry migration. If for each, this will create a table. If a table already exists, then it will exit the function or it will create the table. Now the main thing after creating the table is inserting the value into the tables. Now this function will insert all the values in the table. First it will check the name of the database, then the table name, and then it will insert the values. This is all done dynamically. All the process is dynamic. And now visualization will start by Deepak.
Yeah, for visualization process, we are calling different functions here for country migration, skill migration, and industry migration. And this is the code for running the Jupyter file using our Dagster. So coming back to the Dagster, you can see that all materialization is done, and our DB is created here. And on the MongoDB also, you can see all the datasets are created. Then we will move to our dev project. So here we are again connecting to the database, PostgreSQL database for the visualization part. This function is used to connect to the database, and this is for closing the connections. Then we tried to get the data using the JSON, but when we were trying to call the API that were provided by the data source, we can only call 100 records. So hence we have moved ahead with the CSV files. Now skill migration will be explained by Saroj.
Yeah, so in skill migration, the main topic was how from which country the people are migrating to another country on based of skill level. So if Deepak can show the graph where it's mentioned about the skills. So in on the other graphs we can see that how income level basis and country level basis how people are migrating. One more graph below, Deepak. Yeah, so in this we can see in the here we can see that it is divided by top 10 skill groups that have migrated the most. So a specialized industry skill has seen the most migration. And can you go one graph above? Yeah, and in this there are the top 10 skill groups like software development is second, software development sorry first, and then employment learning and development comes in the field. So these are the top 10. So from what we can see, from what the data suggests, most people from Afghanistan and from middle income regions are migrating more to higher income regions like and Central Asia and North America. Now I'll pass to Nivriti.
Migration, the find which industries over the period of time have improved their migrations and which are attracting more skilled labor. So going with the first graph, which involves net migration from 2015 to 19, we have seen that the growth in e-learning industry is massive compared to others. For the last graph, that has visualization. It combines of all the columns with respect to the net migration of the different years. From this graph, it is understood that Luxembourg having a maximum number of migration in the internet industry. This shows compared to this is the second last, for the last graph. It shows that there is a negative decline in Qatar. That means that the transportation industry has gone down rapidly, whereas Luxembourg has seen a growth in the internet industry. Going forward with the country migration for Deepak.
Yeah, for country migration, we are looking forward like from which base countries people are moving to the target countries. So here I had data for base countries and target countries. And so if we have top 10 countries by net migration rate, we can see Luxembourg was like highest on 2015 and it remained high for the 4 years, like 2019. And if we see the net immigrants in the world, so around the world from 2015 to 2019, we can see that number of people moving from UAE is more in 2019. And if we check for the number of immigrants that countries are receiving over the years, in 2019, we see that India has received many immigrants. So some of the people that were living outside the India then came back in 2019 due to COVID. So this is the visualization part. Next conclusion will be headed by Nivriti.
To conclude the whole project, we have taken the LinkedIn and the World Bank Partnership Database, which involves skilled industry and country migration. This is very imperative to keep in mind that the data that we have is from 2015 to 19, and the world has seen a massive shift after the pandemic into various new industries that have come up, and also different countries which are attracting new skilled labors. So this is the basis of our whole project. The limitation to us was that the data was not available after 2020. So all the data that has been analyzed is till 2019, and the graphs show subsequent decisions as to what different countries, industries, or the policymakers can take into account for identifying which country, industry, or skill needs to be built up for more attraction of and growth of economy and country. Thank you.
Thank you.